Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to the Padres podcast right here on YouTube. Before you guys do anything though, please make sure that you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys ring that bell for notifications. And make sure you guys comment and you guys share. Really helps out the channel. Alright, so before I get into some trade deadline news on what we think that AJ Preller is going to do in the trade deadline. Again, the Padres lose to the Phillies. They get swept by the Phillies, this time in Philly. And it's the same thing, that we've been saying for months now. It's the same thing we've been saying for months. They got to start hitting. The stars got to start being stars. Manny's got to hit. Fernando's got to hit. Merrill's got to hit. And so, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but let's get into a few stories here about what the Padres might do in the trade deadline. So we have here. This is from Matt Levine. So he says the San Diego Padres face some tough questions around the team with just about 2 months to go until the MLB's trade deadline. The Padres front office has to decide to proceed with roster needing both more pitching and hitting help. San Diego Padres could be getting both Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove back from injury after the All-Star break, which could be some massive reincarnations. However, each starter has seen multiple setbacks take place and nothing is guaranteed. This could lead the Padres to bring in more pitching help, giving themselves some insurance for the year. On the hitting side, stars Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Jackson Merrill have severely struggled at the plate, leading to the team's offensive problems. San Diego has a lot of trouble scoring runs, and this could prompt the front office to add more pop to the lineup. The Padres overperformed early in the year, which could lead to the front office to look to add. However, at the same time, the odds are against the Padres to reach the postseason, and the front office could decide not to go all in this season. AJ Preller has a track record of being active at the trade deadline in if his team is within striking distance, though in striking distance though. And MLB.com's Mark Feinsand laid out the major questions for the team. The health status of Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta will help President of Baseball Operations AJ Preller sort out his priorities heading into the trade season. If he's confident that both will be healthy, something he might not know for several weeks, he could shift his focus to the lineup. If not, then adding starting pitching will likely be the move, Feinsand said or wrote. The case for the Padres adding a hitter. Due to lack of consistent offense this season, adding a bat does make a lot of sense for the Padres. Machado and Tatis have struggled to get going at the plate, and it's now a large enough sample size for the team to be concerned. Slugger Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros could be available, and he has been linked with the Padres previously. The Padres have also been linked to a reunion with Luis Arraez, who left the team in the offseason. San Diego doesn't necessarily need more power in the lineup, but rather pure hitters. The team currently ranks tied for last in all of MLB with an OPS of 652. They're tied with the New York Mets, who sit at 27 and 35. If the Padres want to reach the goal of winning the World Series this season, the offense is going to have to improve. Adding more talent at the deadline could give the Padres a better chance to win, and Preller has never been shy about making splash trades before. The case for the Padres adding a pitcher. Since both Pivetta and Musgrove have seen plenty of setbacks this season already, Preller could look to acquire another pitcher for the starting rotation. The big question around this team at the start of the year, were how the starters would hold up, and if the team could land another arm, and at the deadline, the rotation could actually turn into a strength of the roster. Pitchers such as Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, Freddie Peralta of the New York Mets, and Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Marlins have all been linked with the Padres. Each pitcher could come with their own set of risks and costs, but it could be more than worthwhile for San Diego. The team has already brought in former All-Star Lucas Giolito to bolster the depth, but adding a top-of-the-line starter would make them even stronger. The health of Musgrove and Pivetta could be fickle down the line. So the Padres are better off bringing in more help to be safe. I definitely think so. I definitely think that the Padres should definitely, if they have the opportunity to bring in more help, I definitely think that they should look at bringing. They definitely should give consideration to those pitchers that I just read off to you: Sandy Alcantara, Tarek Skubal, and Freddie Peralta. I think that they should definitely at least give them. I think they should definitely at least give them a look. It would definitely boost the pitching rotation. Give the rotation more depth. I would say so. I would say it would definitely give the rotation much more depth. Especially if I don't know how well Alcantara's doing. I don't know what his record is. I don't know how well Freddie Peralta is doing. But I do know that Tarek Skubal, he is one that if he comes back pitching really, really well from this procedure that he had on his elbow, he's one that could give you seven innings. He's one that could go out there and give you at least six or seven innings every night. And I wouldn't mind the addition. I wouldn't hate the addition at all of Tarek Skubal. I think that would be a great addition to the Padres. I mean, even he would be a great addition. I mean, even Freddie Peralta or Sandy Alcantara, even one of those guys to be starting pitcher would be an absolute get for AJ Preller. And I think that I'm not gonna rule that out as far as, you know, those are the three that he's looking at. I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking at all three of them. And you know, and I wouldn't be, you know, and if we can add adding Yordan Alvarez, I mean, yeah, I mean Luis Arraez even too. I mean, now Luis Arise, okay, we could add him. Um, there's definitely there's some mixed, people are kind of mixed out there on Arise. Right now he's doing incredibly, incredibly. He's hitting incredibly for the Giants right now. He's got a three something batting average. He's definitely doing really really well for himself right now as a Giant. And if you could tell him that he would just strictly be playing second base, now that we have DFA'd Nick Castellanos, there would definitely be a roster spot for him. I believe there would definitely be a roster spot for Luis Arise, and you could strictly put him at second base, and then you could move Fernando back out to right field, and you'd have a solid, you'd have a solidified second baseman, and you wouldn't have to put your best defensive right fielder at second base. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at Luis Arise either. So there's some more here on the Padres and Tarek Skubal. Like this thing really has legs. This really really has legs. I would not be shocked if we landed Skubal. I mean, this thing is this really seems to be taking on some legs here. But Logan Devine of one of the sport baseball columns online, he's got an article titled "Insiders expect Padres to be in on Tarek Skubal." If there's one thing that AJ Preller has shown during his tenure as the San Diego Padres general manager, it is his willingness to go all in and acquire all-star players in exchange for top prospects. A couple of great examples are the acquisitions of Juan Soto from the Washington Nationals during the 2022 deadline, and the addition of all-star closer Mason Miller from the Athletics last season. The move to acquire Miller has panned out so well for San Diego that the Cy Young Award talks have swirled around the hard-throwing righty this year. With the Padres continuing to breathe down the neck of the Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL West standings, you can certainly expect Preller to go all in once again at this year's trade deadline. If San Diego wants to go on a deep run in October this season, Preller should be in on his player who is expected to come available the August 3rd deadline. During an appearance on the Foul Territory podcast, Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic said that he fully anticipates the Padres to be among many teams interested in Tarek Skubal. I fully expect the Padres to be one of many teams in on Tarek Skubal if he becomes available, Rosenthal said. While Rosenthal also noted that the Padres may look for some bats via the trade market due to the disappointing offense this year, Skubal is absolutely someone the Padres may show a lot of interest in. San Diego is currently without a couple of their top arms in Nick Pivetta, with elbow inflammation, and Joe Musgrove recovering from Tommy John surgery, and will surely look to bolster their starting staff between now and the deadline. Skubal's name remains a hot commodity on the trade market, and despite still being in rehab after undergoing surgery to remove loose bodies in his left elbow, the expectation is that the Detroit Tigers will deal the back-to-back AL Cy Young Award winner. The asking price may be high, but AJ Preller has shown over the course of his tenure constructing the Padres roster that if a top player is available, he will pounce. Absolutely. Absolutely. AJ Preller will pounce if a high profile pitcher is available or a high profile player is available. AJ Preller will pounce. He will definitely look for something to get for Skubal, I believe. Now, this story, I'm not sure. This one, I really question the thought on this one. So the San Diego Padres are expected to be aggressive in making roster additions at the upcoming trade deadline, likely centered around starting pitching and the lineup. This team has exceeded expectations so far this season, but they've started to fall back to earth over the last few weeks. With this, we could see President of Baseball Operations AJ Preller look to be active to improve the team this summer. The Padres have an excellent bullpen, but led by all-star closer Mason Miller. But this isn't enough to win. Even with Miller being in Cy Young conversations this season, he can't carry the team alone. At the end of the day, the Padres need to have a lead late in games for Miller to be available. So one MLB insider decided to ask a controversial question. Could the Padres do the unthinkable and move on from Miller? MLB analyst Chris Rose believes that they could. This was a crazy take by Chris Rose. Okay, this was an insane take. I seriously doubt this is going to happen, but here's what Chris Rose said. MLB analyst Chris Rose believes that they could, and predicted that they'll look into the idea over the next few months. My prediction is that Mason Miller gets traded for the second straight year, and he's going coast to coast, and will try to bolster the bullpen of the New York Yankees in a major deal, Rose said. Rose mentioned George Lombard Jr. as the centerpiece going back to the Padres in this trade. The thinking behind the prediction from Rose is that the Padres need more help, as this team isn't currently constructed to win the World Series, thus focusing on adding more help that could also benefit the future could make some sense. The worst thing you can do is to have the best closer in the business on a team that can't win the World Series, Rose said. So I don't care how AJ Preller shops New York's baseball player market. Go figure out a way to make your team better than the way it is right now. Does trading Mason Miller make sense for the Padres? On the surface, the idea of trading Mason Miller seems head-scratching, especially with how dominant he's been this season. But Rose does make a good point that this team isn't on pace to be a true World Series contender. And with that as the reality, having Miller doesn't help them as much as they hoped. The core of the star players, including Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Xander Bogaerts, aren't getting any younger, so the team needs to maximize their current odds to win. Losing Miller would hurt, but this is a move that could help the Padres set the Padres up for success well beyond this year. The Yankees may pay premium prices to land Miller, as the team was interested in landing him before the Padres did last season. San Diego could also recoup a ton of assets that they lost when they landed Miller from the Athletics last year. However, the team in all likelihood won't consider trading Miller this season, and instead will look to add to the roster with him on the team. There are pros and cons trading Miller, but moving him now could could look like the team waving the white flag, and with the new ownership group in place, this isn't the message the Padres want to send out. Instead, the Padres will likely continue to retool and be glad to have baseball's best closer on their team for the foreseeable future. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely 1,000,000% yes. Do not let Mason Miller, do not even think trading Mason Miller. It would not make sense. That would be a trade. That would be a trade to me that would not make sense. That absolutely would not make sense if the Padres decided to move on from Mason Miller. That would be a trade that I'd be scratching my head on that one for years to come if the Padres decided to move on from Mason Miller and even consider trading him. I say keep Mason Miller, keep him where he is, keep him as your closer, and retool other ways. Look for other ways to retool. Now, some Padres rumors. This is written by Chris Spearing of Clutch Points, and he writes, Padres rumors. The 3.9 billion reason AJ Preller could become even more dangerous at the trade deadline. Padres rumors. The 3.9 billion, that's billion with a B, reason AJ Preller could become even more dangerous at the trade deadline appeared first on Clutch Points. The finalization of the sale of the San Diego Padres should be completed this summer. Jose Feliciano and his wife, Kwanzaa Jones, bought the team for $3.9 billion in April, making it the biggest sale in the history of the sport. Because of the sale of the team, general manager AJ Preller has been forced to pull back on his trading mindset. Preller has been notorious for trading away prospects for major league talent, and he has done a good job of building a winning team. The ball club is in a completely different realm now than it was decades ago, and former owner Peter Seidler was a massive part of the quick progression. The Friars do not have a World Series trophy yet, but they are in a much better position to do it now after years of misery. You can't win it all without making the postseason, and the Padres have made the postseason 4 of their last 6 seasons. It's expected that San Diego will make a run for the postseason again, but they must make trades for offensive talent. The Athletics' Ken Rosenthal believes that the eventual finalization of the sale of the team will see Preller go to work ahead of the MLB trade deadline. If anything, Preller could become even more dangerous once the Padres' $3.9 billion sale to Jose Feliciano and his wife, Kim Kwanzaa Jones, is finalized. At the past 3 deadlines, Preller operated with limited payroll flexibility. Some teams hear that Feliciano and Jones while not yet approved, plan to grant him greater financial leeway. Preller will do something. He always does. Never afraid to double down on his strength. He has explored the market for high-end relievers, as the Athletics' Dennis Lin wrote last month. And if the Detroit Tigers make back-to-back Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal available, President of Baseball Operations Scott Harris should expect to hear from his counterpart in San Diego over and over again. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree. If once this sale is finalized, and Jose Feliciano and his wife Kwanzaa Jones are officially the owners of the San Diego Padres. I expect AJ to have a huge leeway here of signing some big name or a couple of big names here that during the trade deadline, because with the amount of money that Jose Feliciano and his wife Kwanzaa Jones have, they're going to give AJ a lot of leeway. I mean, like we've talked about, the team sold for $3.9 billion. That is the most in history that a baseball team has sold for, and that's all thanks to Peter Seidler and what he did when he bought the Padres. His mindset of, we're going to build a team to go to win the World Series. We are not going to settle until we've brought a championship trophy to San Diego, a World Series trophy to the Padre fans, because they deserve it. And we absolutely do as Padre fans. We so deserve it. We've been there twice and lost. We so deserve to go to a World Series and actually win the thing. And I said before, like, I really think that once this sale goes through, that AJ Preller is going that the leash is going to be off of AJ Preller, and that the handcuffs are going to be off, and he is going to be able to go. This may be a hot take, but I think he is going to be able to go hog wild in the trade deadline, on the trade market, and get whoever he needs to bolster this roster, to bolster this team, and get us over the hump, get us past the Dodgers to the World Series, and get us that World Series trophy, and multiple World Series trophies at that, to make us a championship team for multiple years to come, to where we have multiple World Series. And I would absolutely love that. I would love that. And for AJ to be able to have the ability and the capability to do that, where in the past he has not had that capability to do so. And now with these new owners, he's going to, I believe he's going to have that capability and that ability to be able to make these additions, to be able to make these trades, and to acquire these guys that these pitchers or hitters that we would never have even been able to even touch or even offer a contract to. And the fact that we're able to do that now, and the fact that we're in on Skubal, the fact that we're looking at Alcantara, the fact that we're looking at Freddie Peralta and Yordan Alvarez, and guys of that nature, guys of that ilk, is absolutely incredible to me. That is absolutely insane to me, that we are looking at guys on that level now that can hopefully help get us over that hump. And I've said it before. I mean, if AJ Preller is able to pull off Tarek Skubal, that having Skubal along with King, Musgrove, and Pavetta, is going to be very deadly, is going to be very dangerous for the other teams in baseball. That is going to be an absolutely insane thing if that happens. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about all these stories. Let me know what you guys think about the realistic possibility of the Padres getting Tarek Skubal or any of those pitchers that I mentioned, or Yordan Alvarez, or whatever you guys think whoever you think the Padres might look to get in the trade deadline at the trade deadline. Leave your comments in the comment section down below, guys, and make sure to watch this video right here, actually right here in the right-hand corner for more videos just like this one. Watch this video that's going to pop up right here, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. I will catch you guys in the next video. Hey, let's go Padres.